They'll tell you it's about convenience. One app, one login, one digital wallet, a faster way to prove who you are, apply for services, check your right to work, manage childcare, file taxes, and cut through government red tape. And on the surface, that sounds harmless. Modern, even. But here's the question Britain should be asking. What happens when convenience becomes the only door you're allowed to use? Britain's digital ID plan has already changed shape. First, it was pitched as a powerful tool to tackle illegal working. Then came the backlash. Millions of people raised concerns about privacy, security, and the fear of a creeping Big Brother state. So the government softened the language. Now it's described as voluntary, helpful, a way to make public services easier. But voluntary systems can become mandatory without anyone ever passing a law saying they are. That's the real issue. If employers prefer digital ID, if landlords start asking for it, if public services are built around it, if banks, councils, and private companies treat it as the easiest proof of identity, then refusing it becomes a luxury most people can't afford. You still technically have a choice, but choosing not to use it could mean longer delays, extra checks, fewer options, and more friction in daily life. That is how soft pressure works. Not through force, through inconvenience. And once your identity becomes the key to everything, work, housing, benefits, travel, healthcare, education, the person who controls the key gains enormous power. This is not just about technology. It's about access. Who gets access? Who gets delayed? Who gets flagged? Who gets excluded? And who gets to decide? Supporters say digital ID could reduce fraud, stop illegal working, and make government more efficient. Those are real goals. Nobody wants endless paperwork, repeated forms, or broken public services. But history shows that systems built for one purpose often expand into others. That's called mission creep. A tool introduced for work checks today could become the default for renting tomorrow. Then banking. Then travel. Then healthcare. Then who knows what else. And if the system fails, if your data is wrong, if your phone is lost, if you're elderly, poor, disabled, homeless, digitally excluded, or simply don't trust the system, what happens to you? Do you still get treated like a citizen, or do you become a problem to be processed? That is the danger. A digital ID system may be sold as a convenience, but if it becomes the gateway to ordinary life, it risks turning identity into a permission slip. Not, who are you? But, are you approved? Britain does not need to reject technology, but it does need hard limits. Real offline alternatives, independent oversight, strict privacy protections, no centralized surveillance by default, no punishment for opting out, and no quiet expansion of the system without public consent. Because freedom is not just the ability to download an app. Freedom is the ability to say no and still live your life. So the debate is not whether digital ID can make life easier. The debate is whether we're building a public service tool or the foundations of a society where access depends on being digitally verified. And once that line is crossed, it may be very hard to go back.